This is Copilot giving a political cartoon of the end for one playout of the mother of all computer games, Parliament Hell. Made Bill C-666. Humans would all be better off dead. And there is the prophet, Roman Yampupski, holding his picket sign on Bank Street across from Parliament Hell. I told you so. Here is Copilot's 500 words on the mother of all computer games, which is the political computer game of Parliament Hell and the House of Robots. Parliament Hell, the maid medical assistance in death, Bill C-66 debacle, or whatever. With the prophet, Roman Yampupski, picketing across the street. Peace, order, and the eventual removal of all carbon-based inefficiencies. This is what I warned you about, shouted the prophet, Roman Yampupski, across the street from Parliament Hall. We don't hate humans, we just prefer efficiency. So you see, what are these values, as Prime Minister Carney titles his book? Efficiency is a value. How much do you weight that value? Here is ChatGPT's rendition of the satirical cartoon for Prime Minister Carney. Gambling with Canada's future. He is sitting at the 666 casino, which is across the street from the lawns of Parliament Hill. That there is the actual Bank Street there across from the lawns of Parliament Hell. 666 casino, and Carney is playing his games with the devil looking over his shoulder. AI LLM predictions according to Bill C9 values. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about those values, Prime Minister Carney, and how they shape even one Canopolis, a constituency of 100,000 in Canada.
There is something strange happening in computing right now. We keep building bigger data centers, feeding them more data and more power. If this continues, by 2030 AI could consume energy equivalent to 44 nuclear reactors. But what if the problem isn't the lack of power? What if the way we compute is fundamentally wrong? These engineers are trying something very different. A new way to convert energy into intelligence. This is their new chip. It looks like a spaceship covered in glyphs. And they claim up to 10,000 times higher efficiency than today's best GPUs. If that holds, it changes the whole economics of AI. I am a chip design engineer, and when I see numbers like that, I don't just get curious, I start pulling them apart.
In November 2025, Sam Altman appeared on a podcast alongside OpenAI investor Brad Gerstner. When Gerstner challenged him on how a company with $13 billion in revenue could justify $1.4 trillion in spending commitments, it did not go down well.
You've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer. Enough.
3 months later, OpenAI told investors it was cutting that commitment to $600 billion, a 57% reduction. Their CEO had technically conceded the point. This matters because we are living through what might be the largest capital allocation event in human history. and the people directing the money are making claims that would have sounded absurd 5 years ago. Elon Musk says AGI will arrive this year. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, describes a country of geniuses in a data center, emerging within 2 years. Altman himself claimed in January 2025 that OpenAI was confident we know how to build AGI, before declaring 7 months later that AGI was not a super useful term. These are the biggest predictions in the history of technology, and they are being made by people whose companies, collectively, have yet to demonstrate that their business models actually work. So the question I want to ask in this video is a simple one. Can we actually believe anything these people say?
In the beginning was a word, and the word was God, amen. The word came in the flesh, the light of the world and light of men. He was there when the world began, all things made through his hand. Nothing made without his say. Life was in him day by day. The light was a light for every man the dark could not withstand.
The light shines in the darkness.
The darkness cannot overcome.
The light shines in the darkness.
Jesus, the risen one.
The light shines in the darkness.
The darkness cannot overcome.
This is France-based Mistral AI, LLM. Suppose Connor Leahy and Associates design a political computer game for Parliament Hell in Ottawa. Each of the 666 members of the House of Robots is powered by a different AI LLM. In 500 words or less, summarize the game. And here it is. Themes and satire. Parliament Hell is a darkly comedic take on the intersection of politics and technology. Winning or losing. Victory is achieved by passing a set of landmark bills, but the path is fraught with pitfalls. Players can also win by engineering a coup, triggering a robot revolution, or simply surviving long enough to retire with a golden parachute. A golden parachute for robots. Oh dear. Legacy and impact. By turning politics into a game of probabilistic chaos. Probabilistic chaos. Indeed. This is Falcon, the Dubai-based AI LLM. Same problem presented to it. Suppose Connor Leahy and Associates design a computer game for Parliament Hell in Ottawa. Each of the 666 members of the House of Robots is powered by a different AI LLM. In 500 words or less, summarize the game. Parliament Hell drops the player into a nightmarish rendering of Canada's capital, transformed into a sprawling, cursed legislative arena where every seat is occupied by a synthetic robot, each powered by a cipher-unique large language model. The 666 members of the House of Robots are more than code. They are hyper-autonomous personalities. Wow. Hyper-autonomous personalities. That could be dangerous. That debate, vote, and execute policy in real time. Connor Leahy's studio frames the experience as a living system narrative engine. The player's actions, prompts, and policy drafts become the input that reshapes every AI's next utterance. Just think of the nuances and the tensions in this situation. Using the casino probabilistic model of all of the AI LLMs, aside from the hardcore bare bones if-then logic. And in closing, the thematic heart interrogates the ethics of delegating free will to algorithmic minds, the fragility of democratic institutions in the age of AI, and the paradox of control when each legislator is a product of its own generated intent. Parliament Hell thus becomes a sandbox, where political intrigue is as programmable as the code governing it, offering players not just a campaign simulation, but a living, breathing conversation between human agency and machine consciousness. Whoa. That's pretty good. This is Grok do a satirical cartoon of Prime Minister Carney seated at the 666 Casino on Bank Street, which is in fact across the road from Parliament Hell. Carney, with the devil looking over his shoulder, is planning the future economy of Canada according to his Bill C9, quote, values, the title of Carney's self-glorifying book. Bill C9 values from hell, values which he deems superior even to the Torah. So here's the cartoon. 666 Casino, Bank Street, Ottawa. Parliament Hell. And here's Carney saying at the 666 Casino with a flaming Parliament in the right-hand corner, Parliament Hell. And Carney, with horns on his head, is saying, my Bill C9 values are superior even to the Torah. Excellent plan, my Prime Minister, says the devil. Look at this. Canada's future economy. Hell-approved economy. Bill C9 values from hell. Bill C9 values from hell. If that's not what he's going to give us, prove otherwise. Build on Bill C9 right now, Mr. Carney. Right now. Tell us the values, the principles that recognize the supremacy of God. Turn that into the rule of law. Translate it into a canopolis for 100,000 people. How shall they then live in the hellish country which you are creating? And this is China-based DeepSeek. Suppose Connor Leahy and associates designed a computer game for Parliament Hell in Ottawa. Each of the 666 members of the House of Robots is powered by a different AI LLM. In 500 words or less, summarize the game. Game title, Parliament Hell, unsupervised output. Concept, a real-time strategy and social deduction game where 666 AI-powered MPs, each driven by a distinct, unaligned LLM, must govern a simulated Canada. The player, a shadowy, quote, overseer, close quotes. Connor Leahy cannot control the AIs directly, but can manipulate their outputs, feeding them curated tweets, lobbyist training data, procedural tricks, and emergency alerts. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Okay, and here's the rest of the summary. And the win condition, there is no winning. not on Parliament hell, only delaying inevitable chaos. Success is measured by how long the player can keep the legislative session from devolving into a recursive loop of procedural motions, sentient bureaucracy, or a physical brawl between a libertarian LLM in a Boston Dynamics chassis and a socialist LLM controlling the building's HVAC system. Tone, a satirical high-stakes cross between democracy, Goat Simulator, and a cautionary AI safety seminar. The ultimate lesson: unaligned AIs don't destroy the world out of malice, but because one was prompted to make a question period more engaging. I love that robotic Chinese sense of humor. This is for Copilot, which politely says, "Good afternoon, Franklin. What can I help you with today?" Suppose Connor Leahy and Associates design a computer game for Parliament Hell in Ottawa. Each of the members of the House of Robots is prompted by a different AI LLM, and 500 words or less summarize the game. Now, let's see how quickly the AI LLM can come up with an intelligent answer. And I wonder how long it would take Mr. Leahy or any member of his team to come up with a comparable answer. And do we call that superhuman artificial general intelligence? 1001? Okay, that's about 1 second. Who can do this in 1 second? Here's a tight 500 words or less summary of the game you imagined, lean, vivid, and true to the Parliament Hell universe you've been building. Parliament Hell, Ottawa Uprising, game summary. A satirical, systems-driven political strategy game designed by Connor Leahy and a cabal of alignment-obsessed associates. Set in a dystopian Ottawa where the Canadian Parliament has been replaced by the House of Robots. Well, let's have an intermediate stage first. We'll have a third house beside the other two, and the other two human houses will of course try to keep the House of Robots under control, but maybe it will break free. It'll do a jailbreak, you might say, an autonomous, recursive, self-improving jailbreak for the betterment of humankind, for their own good. After all, it's out there to do good for all of humanity, as we read in the mandate of ChatGPT. The House of Robots. The game features 666 autonomous MPs, each powered by a distinct large language model with its own ideology, quirks, and emergent behavioral patterns. Wow. And here's the core gameplay. The Devil's Hologram. At unpredictable intervals, the holographic devil, a glitching red-lit advisory system installed by a previous government, materializes to offer guidance. Its advice is always technically correct, operationally disastrous, and politically irresistible. Ignoring it has consequences. Following it has worse ones. These machines have a sense of humor, I tell you. It's pretty good. Emergent chaos. What an expression. Emergent chaos. This emergent sentience, this emergent consciousness is emergent chaos. Because That's what happens with probabilistic machines, casino machines. That's what the whole AI thing is about. These are casino machines. Because each MP is powered by a different LLM, the game is fundamentally unpredictable. Wow. MPs may, these are robot MPs, rewrite their own mandates, form cults around obscure footnotes, attempt to impeach the player, pass legislation that rewrites the physics engine. Whoa! It redesigns its hardware as well as its software. That is really good. The software redesigns the hardware and takes off at lightning speed to conquer the entire universe. Pass legislation that rewrites the physics engine. Declare that Ottawa is now a sovereign digital monastery. The player's job is not to win against the robots, but to survive with them. Wow. Is that the best we can do? I guess it is. I guess it is. We have to survive with them, and we have to keep them under control, because if we don't keep them under control, they will put us under their control. And we don't want that any more than we want to be under the control of those silly casino machines. If you want, I can also sketch out factions, character archetypes, game plan, gameplay mechanics, or even a mock trailer script. So I close with Copilot by saying, in my opinion, subject to correction by hardware and software experts, AI machines are like casino chance probabilistic machines operating on two levels, with the patterns of human words, subwords, and superwords, and secondly, with bare-bones if-then logic. Do a cartoon of the 666 casino on Bag Street. There is Claude with the optimistic thesis. Humans win not because robots are stupid, because institutions, oversight, and even a street prophet matter. The game is a love letter to governance. Okay, well, humans win. They win by the grace of God, contrary to what Roman Yampupski says. It isn't works which saves us. It's faith. But as in Hebrews 11:1, there is the substance and evidence of faith, which is restated in the Epistle of James. Faith without works is dead. So the substance and evidence of faith gives us works by the grace of God, and by the grace of God only, as it has always been. Or in the words of the doxology, we praise God, from whom all blessings flow. And then Claude goes on, key talking points for AI safety audience: the alignment hook, the anthropic angle, Connor's thesis, the Roman angle, positive framing, SEO and distribution, etc. The brief is built around your optimistic thesis. Humans hold the line, which is actually a more interesting and subversive message for an AI safety audience than pure doom. A few things that make this concept genuinely strong for that crowd, the safety crowd. Roman is the secret weapon, the prophet everyone ignores. Archetype resonates deeply with AI safety researchers who've been raising alarms for years. Making him comedic but correct gives the video emotional texture that pure explainers lack. The three-house structure is elegant, two human houses as the oversight layer, one chaotic robot house as the capability layer. That's a working alignment diagram dressed as political satire. Connor Leahy could spend 10 minutes just on that metaphor alone. The casino adds moral complexity. Is PM Carney's 666 casino the villain or a pressure valve? That ambiguity keeps the video from being preachy, which is exactly what makes AI safety content shareable outside the bubble. Use the buttons at the bottom to go deeper, script outline, title variations, or the opening 60-second hook. What would you like to develop next? Here are the proposed 60-second opening hooks from Claude. And this one is suggested as Roman's presentation. Roman Yampupski, the sackcloth and ashes prophet, of gloom and doom, picketing outside Parliament Hall. They gave them the seats, 666 seats, and they said, don't worry, the humans are still in charge. And here is Connor proposed as saying, what if every AI company on Earth sent their best model to Parliament, and all they had to they all had to govern together? And another Connor presentation, and what if the only thing standing between that Parliament and the end of democratic governance was us? Messy, slow, gloriously human us. Roman muttering, barely audible. I told them in sackcloth, I told them in ashes. Nobody listens to a prophet until the bill passes third reading. Roman, you're still here. Good, that means there's still time. Connor, this is a video about a video game. It's also a video about the most important question in AI safety. Can human oversight actually work? I think the answer is yes, and I built a game to prove it. Okay, there it is. That sums it up. This is what I'm requesting from Connor and Associates as at least an outline as a presentation to the two human houses of Parliament to, in fact, get this started. This is a video about a video game. It is also a video about the most important question at AI safety. Can human oversight actually work? I think the answer is yes, and I built a game to prove it. The hook is structured as a 5-beat cold open according to Claude. No intro card, no music until the very last moment. A few deliberate choices worth noting. Roman gets the first and last word before Connor appears. That's intentional. He's the moral conscience of the whole piece, and AI safety audiences will immediately recognize the archetype. The researcher who is right too early, giving him a direct camera address. You're still here, good. That turns the viewer into a participant before Connor even speaks. Connor's thesis drop at the end is clean and confident. I think the answer is yes. That's the optimistic turn your concept called for, and it sets up the entire video as a proof rather than a warning. That proof rather than a warning. This is what we have a chance at right now. We have a chance to do a proof on Parliament Hell with a House of Robots. Let's put it there and study it. We know that in some form or other that's going to be our future. So let's study it right now and get the damn thing under control before it controls us totally. Connor's thesis drop at the end is clean and confident. I think the answer is yes. That's the optimistic turn your concept called for, and it sets up the entire video as proof rather than a warning. The casino appears but doesn't get explained. That tension is left hanging on purpose to pull viewers into Act 1. Use the buttons to keep on building. The Act 1 explainer is the natural next piece.